Welcome to the Dialed In podcast. I'm your host, Callan Hahn, registered dietitian, cellular restoration practitioner, and bodybuilder. This podcast is for high-performing women that are ready to be intentional about reaching their next level of their health, performance, and life. There we go. Hello, Jeremy. How are you? Can you hear me?
I am awesome. How are you doing today?
Oh, doing so good. So, for those of you joining, we have Jeremy Dalton here, who is the founder of Soulful Sounds with a Z Studio. And you are a sound practitioner that really specializes in creating a safe space and a wonderful environment for those who truly want to tap into their inner selves. And I've had the experience to work with you in some of the sessions, and it has been life altering. The choreography that you do and the intentionality that you put into all of the sound. So I wanted to bring you into our community here, and I want to hear a little bit of your story, how you got started, and then we'll tie this in to how what you do is such a powerful healing modality. So let's start off. If there's anything I didn't introduce you on formally, go ahead and feel free to add anything else in. But I want to hear, how did you get started on this journey?
Most definitely. I thank you for even having me on.
Yes.
I've always been a minister of music. I've been playing music since I was like maybe 5 to 7 years old. From playing the drums with forks and knives at my grandmother's house to actually getting a drum set in church and learning how to play multiple different instruments. And sound has always been, I guess, what God has placed me in this 3D world to do, share my light through sound. Then I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't want to be a pastor. Everybody's like, oh man, you're going to do something with yourself. And I'm like, I just didn't know what it was. Even back in my yearbooks, kids would be like, yo, you're going to be the next Manny Fresh or the next Smith's Beats, and I'm like, man, okay, I'm gonna be producer. All right, that sounds cool, but I don't know how to rap. And then I had a mental breakdown. I had a divorce, and I really didn't know what to do, and so I tried to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. And in that brought me to the mental institution where my therapist, my shrink was so important to me because I learned more about mindfulness and quiet and understanding what stillness was. So I started to tap into yoga and things of that nature and pouring more into my mental health, understanding peeling back layers and knowing what was important. And all of that started with stillness. As I'm saying, we always pray and meditate on things, but we can't hear unless we're in stillness and quiet. Right? Mm-hmm. So I had my first sound bath. I was doing CBD back in 2016, 2017. I was doing CBD. I had a CBG company called Green Means Go. Had my first sound bath. It was a CBD sound bath. And they were like, come on in. The practitioner was like, Spirit is telling me to have you come in here. And I was like, man, so many women in here. I don't know if I want to do this or not. Like, I'm the only guy. It's weird. And they're like, no, well, you need to come in here. And I'm like, no. And she tapped me on my shoulder. She said, Jeremy, I'm asking you to please just come in here. I said, fine, I'll do it. She said, sit beside me. You don't have to do anything. I sunk into the floor. When she started playing the gong, I sunk into the floor. I saw 5 years of my life and told the story after class. And the lady said, we're going to wait. And everybody's like, I want to hear the rest of the story. And the practitioner said, I asked you because Spirit told me to have you come in here. Are you going to answer your calling now? Mm-hmm. And I've been going ever since. I've been sharing my light. The reason why it's so important is because a lot of us have a day-to-day bustle every day. We have something to do, whether it's with our families, our children, work. We have to worry about do everything for everybody else. But my mission is to completely allow sound for us to hear our inner sound, to amplify so that we can actually hear what is being downloaded to us. Yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes when our calling is so much higher, boy, we have to go through turmoil. And sometimes in the moment, we're like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
But I think this can resonate with so many people because I think so many of us that have been called a little higher, we've had to go through a little harder. And at times we're just like, dang, like when is this going to end? You know, where's the breakthrough? But having those taps and those people in our lives to help guide and navigate us, then you get to the point where you're like, oh, this makes so much sense. This is
The
so,
light comes
like,
on.
exactly. And even part of my journey through sound healing, I didn't realize the power of it until I had been to an actual session that was experiential. So, for the audience here, and I know a lot of the people that follow me aren't familiar with sound bathing, period, let alone what the experiential aspect and how it's different than listening to normal music on the radio. Do you want to enlighten us a little bit more on how sound can be used for emotional releases and those experiential facets that a lot of people just may not be aware of?
Yeah, most definitely. So, I don't want to get too like I dive so deep in the
Yeah.
sound and frequencies and things of that nature. So I'm gonna just tap in on a little bit of things, and I'm gonna circle back all around to sum it up. But with our, we all know our bodies are made of water. And the reasoning that our, let's say, the music that we hear is different is because that's different hertz. These are 440 hertz. So that means that, Rockefeller and Hitler and these people created that frequency so that they can reprogram our brain. So like if we're listening to, we can have our YouTube on at nighttime, and all of a sudden may hear a Burger King commercial and wake up in the morning and be like, I want Burger King for some odd reason. So with our bodies being water, that frequency programs us to wake up in the morning and want Burger King. So for sound, whenever you go to different sound baths and whenever you go to different tuning forks and things of that nature, they all have frequencies. And with our bodies being made of 70 to 75% water and actual crystal bowls, whenever you do purchase the right ones, I'm attacking myself, soulfulsoundstudio.com.
Yeah.
Whenever you do purchase the right ones, that resonates is like a cellular massage. So the sound washes over your body and internally, especially whenever you're tapping into your breath. With different instruments and different frequencies, you can go to different places and different realms. We are all, benevolent beings and living in a ethereal plane. So whenever we are doing these things, it allows us to tap into our inner core. So that's why when you hear a gong, things may come up because gongs and some Tibetan bowls resonate in our gut. So that means that whenever those things are being played, it's going to shake, it's going to disturb, it's going to bring things up to where when it does come up, right, that is allowing you to breathe in that space and release whatever that is, and then journal about it or ask the practitioner, hey, what do these things mean? Sound is very important. Whenever we run our finger over a glass, I don't remember the name of the book where the gentleman was speaking to water and playing different music and those different frequencies, that resonation in our voice, some caused it to have beautiful snowflakes and the other ones were broken, shattered. So that just allows us to know how powerful our mind, how powerful all these vibrations are around us. That's why whenever we go to the water, we hear the ocean. It allows us to release. Sound is, our inner sound is very important. That's why you need to be careful about what you speak, because our voice is our main vibration.
Absolutely.
So yeah, hopefully I summed it up a little bit.
Yes, no, that was beautiful. There are so many different, on my path, a lot of awakenings I had to have mentally because I was completely blinded to this level of healing through sound.
Yeah.
And I had just listened to music because I thought it sounded good. Some music would make me dance, laugh, have a good time. And my first time going into an actual sanctioned practitioner and really immersing myself in the environment of I'm going to be very open to whatever experience is going to happen.
Mm.
And there were a lot of things coming out of that that I had tapped into internally that I never even knew I was capable of doing. There were certain things that I was experiencing with feeling in my body, with feeling like tingling or pain or itchiness. And I asked the practitioner afterwards, I'm like, okay, what does all this mean? I know for certain the experience I just had, my body was trying to talk to me. What does all of this mean? And I just remember my first experiential opportunity. I had, kind of an out of body experience. I was seeing a little bit of color, and then when I ended up going to you, you were the one that really opened me up to every note you hear, you should see color. Every frequency is tied to a certain color. So I knew that I'm like, ooh, I have so much room to grow and expand with this type of healing modality that I've just yet to scratch the surface. But I think a lot of people don't truly understand what the opportunity is until they go into that first experiential where they walk out like a firm believer, like, I've been missing out on this my whole life.
Yeah, but everybody isn't like all practitioners aren't created equal. Let me say that.
Yes, true.
It takes one to not just take an online course, but to really sit in with sound and understand it for themselves. Your key words were, I went into it with an open mind and not knowing nothing about the experience, but ready to embody whatever that is. And a lot of people just like, okay, I heard it on YouTube, or my friends are doing it, or I seen it on this, or I seen it on that. And they get into the studio spaces and practitioners are just boom, 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 and have one horrible experience.
Mm.
And then that leaves disruption. So if the practitioner does not know how to orchestrate the room and understand the instruments themselves, they're going to leave with not the same experience you and I have had. That's I take sound very serious because sound can disrupt things. I've had calls of constant ringing in ears. I've had calls of nightmares. What do I do? I didn't have this at your sound bath. Why come this is different from that? Energies and other people who don't know, read up on your practitioner. Get to know them before you go to a class. And even if you do drop in, if it's not meant for you, you can step out, give a namaste, and slide. I can't stress that enough because I get the calls from I'm having to redo the things that other practitioners have done due to unknowing. The reason why you were able to see colors, the reason why I was able to see colors and all these things is because I was like, all right, this lady told me to trust her, so I will. I for being a practitioner of any sort, it's a great privilege because you guys are trusting us to close your eyes, to really be able to release and relax.
And you
In the
guide us through everything with the
everything.
sound.
Yeah.
Everything. But the really unique aspect about you specifically and why you really came to like top tier sound practitioners is because you read the room every single time I've ever been in it.
Yeah.
You read the room, who am I working with today? And how do I think I can help them?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you talk to us a lot before the session because you're creating a new sequence that's going to be directly geared towards exactly what we need to hear.
Yeah.
Or you can read by our energy if something's going to be too much. Because that very first session that we did, you kind of low-key turned it back a little because there were so many of us in there, and you're like, okay, reading the room here. We're not going to go full intensity, but we're going to bring it back a little bit.
Yeah.
because you are thinking of our best interest and our experience that we're going to gain out of it. It was so good.
Seeing people, tapping into the sound healing course, available now. We, as practitioners, we do, we can always, you should always be able to tell where the person is by their breath, by their body language, by their posture, by
Yeah.
whenever you enter the room. If you create that safe space in the room, when each individual come in and you can about feel, as I said, I do give a lot of hugs. I do connect with each individual whenever people come in, because that is, if I'm the orchestrator, then I need to actually know how to guide each individual with the sound. You can't go so hard, maybe to where the person only sees blaring red because I'm playing the root bowl so hard and so loud. Sound is supposed to be felt, not as much heard. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
And that's like every time I'm in a session with you, like you feel like you orchestrate it in a way where our body also has the capacity to bring it in too. So I think that's important too, is understanding that each chakra needs to be aligned in an appropriate fashion. If things are done too fast or out of order, it doesn't create alignment, it creates chaos.
yeah, yeah,
So good.
yeah.
Okay, so, well, we got to let everybody know where you're at right now. You're coming live from Costa Rica. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so grateful to be here. I've with all the work I do, I've manifested and I've prayed and connected with amazing people that I came here um, mid last year, and I liked the energy. The jungle just called to me, and then I came to the Caribbean side of Costa Rica, and the jungle just welcomed me in. I had a roster really, he prophesied to me, and he told me things that nobody knew, and so I felt like that was a sign. And from there, I now have a long-term stay here and working with different, places, different retreat centers and things of that nature, sharing sound with each individual and being able to connect with the jungle. So what I do is, you've heard and you've had a chance to experience what the actual nature sounds feel like in a session.
Yeah.
So I record the sounds, whether it's rain, sleet, well, it's never sleet here, but rain, ocean, howler monkeys, whatever that is, I record that frequency and I add that to my journeys so that it can be curated just for that session. It could be at nighttime, it could be at daytime, or I can get on the keys and I produce things to where we go in. I normally play soaking music. That's what you hear in different churches at the end of service. And that those chords allow us to feel the release, allow us to feel welcomed, uh, to be able to release. So the noises that you hear right now from the howler monkeys, that is like gives us that, in a
Yeah.
sound journey,
Yeah.
and adding the ocean and things of that nature amplifies it. So I'm grateful to be here. I love Costa Rica. If you haven't been,
That,
you need to come visit.
well, and even like you mimic sound too with the use of tools. Like those
Yeah,
you have these little wooden frogs and you have like, you play the wood on it and it
yeah,
sounds like frogs chirping. And I'm like, okay, this is next level. It's
yeah,
so
yeah,
good.
most definitely.
Okay, so what are some of the most incredible experiences that you've had with your practitioner work, whether it's traveling or certain types of experiential, maybe, I mean, I didn't want to say experience too much, but I mean,
Yeah,
ultimately,
yeah. Um, you know, one thing that just came to mind as soon as you said it that stuck out, outside of travel and things of that nature, um, one big thing for me that I have never taken lightly is back in 2023. I just reposted this the other day. Back in 2023, I had the privilege to be on a television show, Brat Loves Judy. and Debrat and her wife, they were trying to uh, get IVF, so that she can have a child. Try different things, XYZ. Well, I'm not going to tell you the whole story. You can go back and look at it, season 3, episode 3. And I had the beautiful privilege to, once again, Brat nor Judy have ever had a sound bath before. They went in with an open heart. They went in with somebody saying, hey, this is the guy. This is the person that you need to see. And whenever they did come in, I did a womb clearing.
Mm.
And with Reiki and with sound, what was it? I think it was like 4 days later, she went back. The IVF took because we had to clear some things.
Yeah.
When the brat passed gas, and she's like, that's it. I'm not crying. I'm not doing all this stuff. But she released just a minor piece of gas, allowed that whatever she was holding on to be released so that she can now have a 3-year-old son. At her, I don't even remember what age she was. I think she was 45, maybe. But no matter the age, it just allowed me to see how strong spirit is, and also how strong sound and an open mind. If you have an open mind and an open heart, you're able to do anything with the right persons. And that was like the biggest highlight. Every time I get on their page and I see that her son, I'm like, man, I remember when. That's a
Yeah.
big thing for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did bring up something, and I really want people to feel like this is a safe space here, because I know a lot of my followers are Christian based. They're like deep rooted into faith, and then we talk about some spiritual stuff.
Mhm.
And for some people, it's like, ooh, I feel like this might be an uncomfortable territory.
Mhm.
How do you see religion and faith and how they can work together sometimes?
For me, it's not even a sometime.
I mean,
Faith is everything.
yeah,
I am a Christian. I've been in church. Like I said, I've been in church my whole life, and I know I would not be here without God.
yeah.
And
Amen.
and for me, it's like I've done things in multiple rooms, and in the Hindu traditions, and I've even worked with even atheists who don't believe in nothing, but at the end they believe in universe, source. They may not label it because a lot of us have bad experiences in church. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
The place where we're supposed to feel the safest.
yeah,
Some of us didn't. When I got my divorce, I was shacking up. I couldn't play the drums in church. They shunned me, you know? So that doesn't mean that I hate God. That doesn't mean these things. I found my divine connection with spirit. I found my divine connection with God, and I allow others to find their connection with God through sound, through voice, through understanding. It wasn't God that told my pastor to get me out of the church. That
yeah,
wasn't it. He was bringing me, I got more closer to with God being out of the church. Not to say all churches are bad. Not saying that. My church isn't even bad. I still go back and play drums from time to time.
yeah,
But it's the fact that we all have our own inner life. If we're made in the image of God, Yahweh, Yeshua, you know what I'm saying? If we're made in that image, we have that inside of us. So with all of the brain fog and the noise that's outside of us, that takes us away from our inner life. So whenever we get back to that space, we're able to hear our God, which is ourselves, because we are the image. That's why we say that
yes,
if I'm a mirror image of you, then what makes you think I'm not a mirror image of source?
yeah. Yeah, that's so
Yeah.
true. And I know I got a deeper connection with my faith when I learned, I mean, high performing women, we are just going like nonstop, like business, 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 call, call, call. Like we are just making deals all the time. But when I learned through breath work, through sound bathing, through tapping into being quiet,
Mhm.
It was the one thing that allowed me to strengthen my faith.
Yeah.
It's because my whole life I had been chasing being a high performance woman. And at some point in time, God showed me these healing modalities to be like, hey, you need to slow down. You need to learn how to be quiet so that
Yeah.
you can listen to your body.
Yeah.
And I
Stillness and
remember,
meditation. Stillness and meditation. Sorry to cut you off. Stillness and meditation
yeah,
is mentioned several times in the Bible. For those
yes,
of us who have read it, or those of us who don't even read it, but stillness and meditation is is mentioned several times. God meditated 40 days. You know what I'm saying? Like he meditated 40 days in the mountain by himself. He had to be quiet so that he can hear. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? So that's what that's what the distractions are. The distractions are the quote unquote devil. Like that's what that is. Like, anything that keeps us from our higher self, that is the evil. That is that, because we all have a work to do. We all have an inner rhythm. We all have an inner beat. You may not can play the bowls, you may not can play the drums, but you may can hum. You may can help other women find themselves. You may can help other businesses tap into their better qualities. You know what I mean? So we all have our own inner light, but we have to have that space, that stillness. These modalities, if you worship playing golf, it's bad. You break your hip. You worship bowling is
yeah,
bad. You we all have the ability to say yoga, sound baths, and all these things are a form of worship. But if you do anything out of not out of unintention, it's going to create that
yeah.
form of worship.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like you may go to a sound bath and say, okay, good, I got something out of this. I'm gonna tap into what I got out of it. It's the work.
yeah. And I
It's
think
not
that's
the
what, yeah, that's what so many people miss
Mhm.
is at Dial In Coaching, we help people identify what
Yeah.
is your body trying to tell you, but we
Mhm.
need practitioners like you to help surface,
Yeah.
okay, this is what was going on during their session. And
Yeah.
you help them, really journal, figure out what frequency it is, bring that data back to us. And then we're like,
Mhm.
great, we know what internal organ needs to be healed. We know, where you need to go next in
Yeah.
order to continue your healing journey. So
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful to have sound practitioners plus cellular restoration practitioners working together to help people heal, because there are thousands of healing modalities out there. But I do know for certain sound healing is one of the most powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And you
I,
do such good work, and you are helping so many people transform their lives. And I think that's where we just need to have a voice to let people in and say, hey, you can have so much benefit if you take the time to pause, listen, be open, and really take it in as an experience and a learning opportunity to where do I need to go next? Because your body will always tell you.
yeah.
And I think it's just so beautiful to have people like you in a space that allow people to feel okay to slow down.
Yes, most definitely. We all need that from time to time. Especially with the not even time to time. We all need that space other than going to sleep. Like I always tell people, everybody sleeps, but no one rests. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
A lot of us
Yeah.
don't get a chance to rest, and to provide that rest so that we can disconnect to reconnect. Man, like you said, I like our collaborations and things of that nature. It's much needed. Like coaching somebody. I'm a basketballer, so coaching somebody on form is great. You know what I'm saying? So then, whenever they are able to do the things, they're like, oh man, if I only knew this sooner. But I'm glad I know this now.
But the
You know?
mental clarity that you get from a full rest.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I just know so many people that will get out of a sound bathing session, and for the next 2 days, they are firing on all cylinders. They're like, let's go. I have so much mental clarity. I can take my business so much further.
yeah.
Like, it brings you online again.
Hmm.
And then when you get disconnected from going to your sessions with your practitioner, and maybe you haven't gone for 6 months, boy, your body is really out of tune.
Yeah. Right, right. You're like, hey, I need a tune-up. Like on
No,
cars,
exactly.
everything needs a
Exactly.
tune-up. Yeah.
Oh, that's why there's such a need for people in your space. Okay, so let's go a little bit more into what you offer as a practitioner,
Mhm.
because I want people to know that there are different levels of what you can gain from a sound bathing practitioner.
Okay. I offer, a an array of different I'm not even gonna say modalities because every download that I get, that's what I play from.
Mm.
So I am a reader. So when individuals come in, like as we already said, I do read the room. So for me, I understand music theory. I understand scales. I understand these things. And so when knowing notes in bowls, you play bowls like you play the piano.
Yeah.
So with doing the internal and deep research from sound frequencies to chords to notes to different vibrations, I curate every session's different. It's not the same. You know, I don't do the same thing because everyone that comes in is different, right?
Yeah.
I bring different instruments in for that case. So I really offer and bring clarity through sound because those are the things that are needed in the session. A lot of us, practitioners, I might say sound healing because a lot of us, we all have the ability to heal, but as a practitioner, it's a daily practice
Yeah.
for us to be able to hold space for others, right? So as I practice, I notice that the more I put pressure, the more that I do these certain things on the instruments, the more expansive the sound's going to feel to the person's body. I curate and share the space of skipping a stone over the lake and watching the ripple effects. That's the visual that I'm wanting you
Yeah.
guys to hear. And I don't throw a brick in it in the ocean, in the
Yeah.
water. It's a
Yeah.
complete different vibe. So
Yeah.
that's what I actually curate. I create the sounds and the the space so we all can feel like we're in our wombs. So that whenever we do come out, we do feel reborn. We do feel rejuvenated. You know?
Yeah.
Hopefully I answered your question correctly.
No, you're doing great. But you do not only do the sessions, but you do teach classes.
Oh yeah, that's what you're asking. Oh
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I do teach classes. I have several students right now that have that are in level one, level two, and I even also have a young lady. She's doing a mentorship program with me for 7 months. These things are important to have hand on hand help. So whenever you do go to a session and you do have questions, they can fire off with the answer. They know because they're with somebody who is very experienced. I teach how to play. I teach music theory in my courses because these things are important. Like I said, knowing how to hold space for ourselves is number one. Before we get behind, sound healing is so trendy right now. You can just hop on Amazon. Back in the day, I'm saying back in the day like I'm old, but I know practitioners who've been in service for 20 plus years. I learned from them the first bowls, and the first one of the first bowls that I've ever played was curated by General Electric, GE. A older man let me play his bowls, and
Yeah.
I was like, wow, it still has that frequency. So I'm teaching
Yeah.
from the elders in the game that
Yeah.
taught me, and now learning all of the new systems, all of the new systematic placements that they have in sound, and I'm able to share that in a way to where we can both can understand, not so woo woo to where it's like, I don't want to do that because I'm in corporate spaces. You can't speak on chakras in corporate spaces.
Yeah.
You can't speak on God in corporate spaces. So how can I reach others that's learning science through sound? So I teach learning through science through sound. I
Yeah.
teach music theory. Let's say you are a musician and you want to add that to your song or you want to record. I teach music theory so that you are able to know what bowls you need, know the math of the bowl. So that means that you know the frequency in which you are providing to the other people.
This is exactly what I wanted to touch on because I'm very science brain too. And this is how I see all of the frequency. It's like it is a bunch of numbers running through your head, and you're like, ooh, if I can mathematically create the right equation for my body, it's going to respond in the most incredible ways. And to your point, when it comes to the corporate space, there are so many, especially, like you do sessions here. The place that I live, there are so many high level entrepreneurs. We all prioritize sound bathing sessions, especially with you, is because we know it's something that's going to take us to the next level mentally. And that's where our performance is.
Yeah.
So we see so many different entrepreneurs that are leaning now towards sound bathing because of the extreme benefits that you get with cognitive recognition from it. But you also said something that was very important. You can't just go to Amazon and buy sound bowls. And you educated me so eloquently on this because you were like, because I do have an interest of playing my own sound bowls. And you're like, yep, go through me because there is a difference between your Amazon sound bowls and authentic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Massive difference. And I could even hear the difference in the sound. Or even like if you go to YouTube and you're like, ooh, I'm going to listen to a sound bathing session on YouTube. That is probably not the right thing to do because it's not curated for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And
also,
I
a
think
lot of
that's
things
right.
now are getting. Also, now a lot of things are getting are pre-recorded. So for me, like I said, I do dabble in Pro Tools and Ableton, Logic. These are systems where you can make music, right? So
Yeah.
now you can get native instruments. Before you could only have flutes, you could only have certain drums and things of that nature. Now you're able to get on these apps and then mash a button on your keyboard and boop, that's the sound bowl.
Yeah.
So who's recording that sound bowl and what was their intention? And then is it the right sound bowl or what does that sound like? These are
Yeah.
things that a lot of us don't even know. Whenever
Yeah.
we are listening to these recordings, some of these people, they're just playing a keyboard, buying a package of sound bowls, alchemy bowls, and playing a chord on a thing, and they don't care, they don't know, or they don't even know the person that recorded it.
Yeah.
So it's important to know what you're actually listening to and playing. There are some people I can plug in that there are some people who have recorded my sound bowls because they see me in the sound session. They will have the mics and they record me so that they can have these scales so that they can put it behind their music because they actually know the practitioner
Yeah.
and not just buying a package online.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
makes a world of a difference. And it even translates into like the everyday person, what you listen to on the radio. We all go on the radio and we'll scan the different channels and we're going to be like, ooh, this sounds it sounds so good right now. Like this is my vibe. And then you change to a different radio station, you feel your body pushing back from it. It's that is just a little, like, if anybody feels that, I just want to encourage you, like, that right there is what you need to start looking for. Things
Yeah.
that you're exposed to in your environment, what you're watching on TV, what you're listening to on the radio, it all matters because it is a micro level of the things that we're discussing today.
Yeah.
And the more you refine and protect your energy, when I get in my car, I never listen to my radio anymore. Is
Yeah.
because I'm so in tune with frequency. There will never be something on the radio that is going to be the right frequency. I already know that for certain. And it's just interesting when people ride in the car with me, they're like, wait, do you complete silent? And I'm like, well, we're engaging in meaningful conversation. Why do I need music?
Right.
People
My
need,
kids hate it.
yeah, people still need to be connected to one another.
Yeah. But see, like you are doing the work. A lot of us, I have a playlist that I listen to every day, like the same thing every day.
Yeah.
And that just gets me going. Whenever I have a session, my manager already knows the first hour, leave Jeremy alone because he's in his vibe. He listens to these things. He has these things to set him up to prepare to hold space for other people. Then after I get finished, I have things that I listen to allow me to decompress, allow me to move a little bit, groove a little bit, so that I can release that energy. You know, yeah, everything we do, everything we listen to is very important. And science and sound, but sound is everything. You know, the biggest vein on our body is our skin. So everything that we hear is data
Yeah.
from our hair.
Everything.
Everything is this data. And whenever we tap into the right frequencies and the right sounds, the right practitioners, the right coaches, the right guides, endless. I have so many testimonials of friends and people that like this week, you know, I have so many people calling me, hey man, guess what? It happened. You're sounding and what you told me to do. Like now I have my own studio space in Houston and like all these beautiful blessings because everybody comes in with an open heart. Everybody
Yeah.
comes in with an open mind. And
Jeremy, share one of those stories. Be specific. Tell the people. Just pick one out.
yeah.
A client story that you had that you're like, man, this completely changed the trajectory of their day, week, year, whatever it is.
Yeah, so you know, this just happened last night. I can share this. Last night, I got a call from one of my dear friends. We were both in a location together, and he decided that it wasn't in alignment of him. And but he was scared. This is a new thing. It's a new thing for him. So we did a sound session together. He's one of my clients. He's one of my students, actually. Daily practices and just affirmations, learning about affirmations, and actually having him to do his own affirmations while he's playing every morning. And this was December 31st. We're crying on the phone together. You know, this is December 31st. And from December 31st to what's the date? The 16th. He called me, 15th. He called me yesterday and said, man, oh my God. Oh my God. You said it. You said it. I said what? He has he has a brand new space now. He has a brand new space that he owns that amplifies him, that he has been placed in the room with, you know, top tier 1% class people that he envisioned, that he meditated on, that we actually made frequencies and affirmations just around him doing 10 minutes a day in the mornings. Just 10 minutes. If you work with when people work with me, I ask them to sit with their instruments for 10 minutes. Not just that, he financially expansion, business expanded, health expanded. He had what those things called sciatica in his nerves gone through sound, through intention, through journaling, through sitting with himself with the instrument. You know, it's great to it's great to come to me. I can walk you through, but it's even better whenever you find your own frequency.
Yes.
Whenever you get with a practitioner to help you get the bowls that is needed for yourself so that you can actually sit down in the mornings while you're drinking your coffee, playing that bowl. Boom! I am love. I am great. I am going to make, I will receive prosperity. All these things that we can create together through the sound allowed from December 31st to the 15th change this man's life for the
He's doing
better. And he'll never do
2026
that.
right.
Yeah.
So
It was,
good.
yeah.
But this just really speaks to the power of being persistent, of following the right healing modalities.
Yeah.
Because inside of our coaching space, we've had a very similar story to that. There was a gal who called me, it was just last week, and she was going through a stressful time with her sales team. And she was like, how can I calm my body down right now? Because she was in that fight or flight. She was in that moment. And she's like, I got to go pick up my kids right now, and I cannot calm my body down. And I'm like, okay, you're in the pickup line right now. How long do you have? She's like, 20 minutes. I'm like, great. Turn your car off so you don't have that EMF bouncing off of you. Put your phone on airplane mode, and we're going to sit together. And I'm going to facilitate you through some breath work, and we're going to do a little bit. I scanned her for frequencies because we do have scanning devices, and what we call it is mind sync. So with our mind sync, we take the affirmations along with the frequencies and we allow it to play for the client while they're getting into a meditative state and doing breath work. Now, it was a lot all at once because she had 20 minutes before her kids were, she was going to get picked up. And I was like, we need to be intentional about your time. Halfway through her session, I cut the cord and I'm like, where is your body hurting?
Yeah.
She's like, my stomach hurts. And she's like, my shoulders are just really flared up right now. And I was like, great. We're going to continue the rest of the session, but we're going to focus on healing those two body parts. And her stomach wouldn't release right away. And I was like, okay, we're not going to push it too far. Let's work on your shoulders a little bit, finish through this actual practice. And while we were working on her shoulders, her stomach dropped. And then finally her shoulders dropped. And she was like, this is insane. She's like, from a remote cell phone, you can create an experience for me where my whole nervous system just drops. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But there are so many ways that you can tap into it. But it's like people like us having our personal experiences, knowing frequency so well, and understanding what do you do with it next? How can you practice it better? And we will always be on this trajectory, I'm assuming you will too, of continuing to learn more.
Yeah.
Because like you said in the beginning, there's so many layers to this that it just gets so deep that you're like, wow, okay, when you start connecting with yourself and feeling online again,
Mm-hmm.
you just live from a completely different perspective. And I truly believe that only 1% of society truly lives at the highest version of themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Like whenever he was sharing that with me about like, he's like 60 something years old, and he was like, man, we always hear about the 1%, but to see how they move, to see the frequencies that they run off of is like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And to be able to, he's like, man, am I ready for this? I'm like, yeah, you prayed for it. You asked for it. We've been practicing for 30, well, not even 30 days. It hasn't even been a full month yet, but it just expanded him so quick because the frequency that he was playing from, he released all the things like your example. She released her shoulders. He released his sciatica and his nerves that was holding him, his gut, IBS. You know what I'm saying? Like all these things just happened from sound.
Yeah.
He's like, man, like you mean to tell me I've been taking all these pills and stuff like that, and my IBS is gone? Like I haven't had irritable bowel syndrome. I was like, yeah.
Well,
Like,
that's what I think health and wellness has really blinded people to what real healing is.
yes, most definitely.
I think all of the marketing of the supplements, the fitness programs, all of this stuff out there is hindering people's true innate ability. The body wants to heal. It wants to talk to you. But have you stopped long enough to really ask it, how can I help you? How can I serve you? How can I worship you?
Yeah.
And I think when we start looking inward and we start doing that type of work, boy, your health journey becomes fun for the very first time.
Yeah.
And it just enlightens something with you and it feels in alignment because your body is finally like, thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's just unique that the power of sound, and there's so many different, like you said, layers and levels to it. But first understanding when you have that breakthrough of like, yes, this is a communication modality. And yes, my body does respond to this, and you have those positive experiences. I think it just springboards your ability to live life in a completely different trajectory.
Yeah, most definitely. I completely agree. Actually doing the work and being here right now, I cry just about every other day to be able to be like, wow, like beyond your wildest dreams, because God doesn't want us to, suffer. He says in the Bible, he wants us to have abundance in all things. But all things give thanks. So if we're not leading with gratitude first for where we are and what we have came from, then that expansion piece will always be missing, which means
Yeah.
that's where the illness come from. Dis-ease causes disease. Like we all know that. Or some people don't. Let me take that back.
Yeah.
Some people don't know that. Dis-ease causes disease. So like whenever we do feel that dis-ease, we gotta tap into where that comes from. That's when we gotta start doing some shadow work, peeling back some layers. We're all born into some trauma, right? We're all born into it.
Yeah.
But it's for us, just like whenever you help people and I help people, it's not up to, and then now people doing medicine, plant medicine. It's
Yeah.
great to get these visions. It's great to get these alignment. It's great to use her. It's great to use Aya and these things, but it's the afterwards. It's the work.
Yeah.
That's what the root is. The work. We can get the visions. I could have got the vision of my 5 years of being like, I still think sound healing is not for me because I've never seen it. I've never seen a melanated man holding space. Never knew what that looked like, only for a man being in the pulpit or a woman being in the pulpit.
Yeah.
For me, I never seen it. But God showed me, Spirit showed me my calling, being a melanated person, brother, being able to actually hold space and help people heal, help people understand how to heal themselves. If we're all triangulated, I'm a visualizer. So if I see like a cord here, a cord there, a cord there, if I see all these things, that right there allows me to be like, wow, we're all connected with our divine light.
Yeah.
We're all calling in these people in our lives. We're all doing these things by just manifesting, by the things we hear, by the things we say. And I can be a testament of saying, I want abundance in all things, and I get abundance in all things, and be like, I didn't know if I asked for that. Having to be really clear on the
Yes.
visions that we want and the things that we say out of our mouths, because that's our number one vibration. You may not have sound bowls at the house, but you do have your voice. You do. I don't teach a lot of vocal toning.
Yeah.
Okay? I do teach vocal toning, but not a lot of vocal toning. I'm still learning. I may do it this year, maybe. I may get in there and start humming and doing the things. But
Well,
but
that's
for
why,
the
and I
one,
could speak from that through experience because I don't have sound bowls. And that's why I do a lot of humming work in the
oh,
morning when I'm doing my morning routine. So you were speaking of the gentleman who does the sound bowls and his 10 minutes first thing in the morning. I do it all with humming work. It's honestly, it does the job, but
yeah,
I will say it's not as powerful as authentic sound bowls, tuning forks, especially tuning forks.
24, yeah,
I was going to say tuning forks are so powerful. I mean, you can feel it radiating through your whole body
yeah.
that if there are emotional blockages or physical blocks that are, hindering your ability to heal, I'm a firm believer that that can help loosen, if not break some of those blockages to where your energy can now feel fluent and flowing.
And once again, having the proper,
Mm.
for all of those who are hearing me, please don't go out here and buy tuning forks and start ringing and start getting them close to your ears and getting them close to your throat and doing. If you don't know, actually, yeah, YouTube is great. YouTube University is amazing, but actually get with a person that can sit with you, that can tell you about what frequency maybe you need solfeggio frequency. Maybe you may not need all 9 of the solfeggio
Yeah.
frequencies. Maybe in this time you may need one. But where there's, you got harmony and healing work together. That's
Yeah.
what I teach. Where there's disharmony, there will be healing if we allow that to happen.
Yeah.
Healing starts with harmony. So whenever people do want to buy a bowl, I always say, don't just buy one bowl. I'm not trying to sell you, but saying it's harmony. So whenever you're playing a boo, you get another bowl, boo, boo. That's harmony.
Yeah.
In the Bible, it says where there's one or two together, I'm here. So
Yep.
for it to be one bowl, it'd be great to have two bowls, so then you can start to have that expansion of harmony. So
Yes.
that then you can amplify your energy with the alignment that you are calling in. That's important. So I wanted to say that because a lot of people
Yeah.
they may hear this and go out and buy some bowls and be like, oh, I'm gonna put it on my chest, and you know you can
That's so
disrupt.
funny. You know that because there's a gentleman here that did that.
Yeah, right, right. You can disrupt
But
yourself. You know what I mean?
it's even though, like, when I first get into a session and you're playing that first sound bowl, your body is like real quiet. But boy, when you start ringing the second bowl, that body just awakes and just starts dancing. So, I mean, that's just a testament to having that harmonic frequency.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Most
So
definitely.
good. So good. Okay, so who do you collaborate with? Besides, like you do your own courses, like you teach in courses, you do your own private work. Do you have any collaborators?
I so I get into the instrument side. I do collaborate with one of the biggest sound bowl companies in the world, and that's Crystal Tones and Crystal Vibes. Uh, those are the and Gongs Unlimited. You know, I can't forget about my brother Andrew. But these are the people that I know that are very intentional about their work, very intentional about the sound quality. So that's number one. I wanted to get that out there first. But as far as practitioners go, other than myself, I didn't collaborate with anybody for, let me be honest, I didn't collaborate with anybody for 4 years.
Good.
Last year was the first time I started to open up myself with collaborations. Um, Other than my shaman, Shaman Ra, Oracle's Touch, I did collaborate. I've been collaborating with him since 2022 on the spiritual aspects um, of sound. But yeah, I really I'm really around a lot of shamans. You know, I have a gong shaman. She
Yeah.
is very important and close to me. She studied with one of the there's five people who brought gongs to the United States of America, and one of the oldest. He's like, I think he's like the last one. He's like 95 or something like that years old. And so I
That's
studied
why
with,
that's why he's going so strong.
yeah,
He's got
yeah.
that sound healing going on.
Right. And my last collaborator, these are all my mentors. You know, like
Yeah.
I only collaborate with my mentors because once again, as far as doing deep work and teachings, that those people are the ones that I collaborate. RIP Dr. Sounds. For those of you who watching, and you may even know
Yeah.
Michael Burke. You know, they called him Dr. Sounds because that's just what he was. He understood people. He understood the ethereal space of sound and how important it is. You know, I took part in his homegoing celebration with hundreds of people bringing instruments in. One of the biggest sound baths that I've ever been in at a homegoing celebration. We call them homegoing, but people may know them as funerals. Like, but that was one of the biggest things, and we all played our own frequency. He all taught us, and it was the most beautiful moment I've ever experienced. So my collaborators, anytime that the reason why my practice is so deep and so great is because I work with those high level collaborators, these high level teachers, shamans that really break down the what, whens, and why. So I'm able to come at it through all levels. Some people may not resonate with woo woo. I'm in the hip hop space, brother. I'm in the hip hop space. So whenever some rappers come to me for sound journeys, they wouldn't resonate with me if I had on hammer pants and all this other stuff, you
Yeah.
know. But to be able to articulate how people can hear me and feel me um, is very important. So knowing the right collaborators.
Yeah.
I love elders, so I'm with the elders, man. You know, I learned from the elders. That's how I got
They're
started.
wise.
Yeah, they're wise. That's how I got started. And so yeah, like I have corporations uh, that I collaborate with. From I did a sound bath for one of the biggest law firms. and did a sound bath for 500 lawyers. You know,
Wow. That's
how
a
does that?
lot. Yeah.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot.
Especially in that space. So I have a lot of corporate collaborators from, like I said, Fraser and Dieter, to Amazon corporate and things of that nature. I don't want to, but
Yeah.
I do just want people to know that sound and intention and your passion for sound can take you to endless places. I'm in Costa Rica right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It can take you to, I did Art Basel. That was a dream of mine. I was like, I want to be in a high museum, but God said I have more for you. I've always wanted to be in Art Basel,
Yeah.
and last year I just did Art Basel, so it can take you, sound healing can take you to endless places. And for those of you who are wanting to get into sound healing, I never want you to feel discouraged by doing one-on-ones or group classes. There's been times where I first started, I didn't have no one in my classes,
Yeah.
but to have the right people around me, I didn't stop. I laid out every mat, laid out every mat, laid out everything like I had a room full of people. And it wasn't 2 weeks later, I had so many people in. I had to do three days,
Yeah.
you know? So I want to encourage people that to get the right, to always have the right people that are pushing you, that are guiding you, and that are willing
So
to.
for those that are watching this, I don't mean to interrupt, but if someone were to want to go to their first ever session because they've never been to one before, what words of encouragement or what specifics do they need to look for when they are looking for their first practitioner? And at the very end, obviously I'm going to welcome everyone to visit with us a little bit more if they're wanting to find someone in their area. But like just for words of advice, what are the do's and don'ts when you're trying to go for your first session?
Um, Number one, mind, don't take any substances.
Yeah.
A lot of people come and they may smoke a joint or take mushrooms or something like that. You don't do all that.
Or
Really,
even like, yeah, like it could be as simple as like caffeine. Like
caffeine. It could be
take
as
take
simple.
it like anything that would be technically considered something that's going to alter your state of mind.
Yes.
We just keep food simple, keep
Yeah.
herbs simple.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Keep all these things as just as simple. Um, just I say I always like. Well, here lately, people have been doing research, meaning like they'll look on my Instagram. A lot of people don't. They say that like, man, like whenever people find me, they don't let me go because it's hard to find me. You
Yeah.
know. Um,
I know, that's why I was privileged. I'm like, thank you for coming on this live today.
yeah, just being intentional about the practitioner and why you're going. It's dope. Sound is important. I believe that just knowing, looking at the flyer, if you're connected with that person or if you feel connected with the person, then intuitively, go grow with that, you know? And maybe, whenever they start playing, it may not be for you. I can't stress enough. It's okay for you to leave. You don't have to just lay there and be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You can just lay there and leave, and people like myself, we will reach out and say, was everything okay? Is everything good? XYZ. Drinking plenty of fluids, that's important. Those things are very important. Being comfortable. So whenever you come to my sessions, you may see people, for those of you watching, you may see people with their blankets, their own pillows, their own things. The more comfortable you are in the session, the more your body's like, okay, I can relax. I have my pillow. I smell the smells of my pillow. I got my blanket. I'm not worried about, okay, well, this says yoga mats and blankets involved, but did they clean them? I don't know. That
Yeah.
can even, I'm a germaphobe. I'm number one. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I make sure all my things are clean. But for those who don't know, that may disconnect them from their journey.
Yeah. You made up a great point. The pheromones in your pillow, your blanket, everything, like that right there can calm someone down so good.
Yeah. Yeah. All these little small intricate pieces didn't come from, studying it. It came from actually real life understanding, like, how do I want to show up in this journey? What
Yeah.
will make me feel comfortable? I don't know this person, but I do know I have my blanket. I do know I have my pillow. And this can have me to at least lower my shoulders a little bit so I can relax. You know? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are like the top four things for me that I've noticed in journeys when people come, and also just you as a person being able to read the room. Like, okay, 'cause these are like-minded individuals who want to do it. I'm not a fan of sip and sound. So knowing that mixing alcohol with sound baths at a journey, that may not be for someone who wants expansion. That may not be someone who wants to call in and manifest, because that's a lower thing. Not to say that you should stop drinking today, but to say knowing when and how to utilize wine and things of that nature. So if you see a session, you see a flyer, sip and sound, it may sound cool, but what is your intention? Knowing your intention while you're going to a sound bath that's the most important thing.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
That is so good. And I just think of like the experiences that I have, like I show up in linen. I'm linen head to toe, got my linen long sleeve on, my linen pants, my linen socks, and I'm like, I am ready for a sound bath. But it's
Yeah.
because linen has 500 or 5,000 hertz frequency. I want to be covered in high frequency because I know for certain it's going to calm my body down so much and my body's going to open up to so
Yeah.
much expansion.
Yeah.
And I think that's just very important for anyone who is on a health journey and wants to really tap into that next version of themselves and do that deeper inner work. I think all of this is so important. And this is why I wanted to have you here with us today, because the work you do is so underrated by society that I'm just like, how can you guys not see so clearly that sound can really help the body in the most incredible ways?
And
So,
you mentioned linen. I wanted to share one
oh
thing
yeah.
about colors, and then
Oh yes, yes.
so whenever if you go to a sound bath, I know a lot of people like to wear dark colors. And if you've noticed, I hardly ever wear dark colors. I'm a practitioner, so for those of the practitioners that's watching, maybe your teachers may have taught you differently, but energetically, we all know that wearing lighter colors, you're able to help out a little bit more than attracting. So whenever I'm in service, I don't wear all black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then you're picking up on it. We're already picking up on all the energy. We're already having to do the work afterwards for ourselves to get our bodies back realigned from everyone else. So now that if you go to a sound journey, and let's say that you may not be financially in a space to have all linen, right? Let's say just put on a white shirt. Wear something a little lighter. You ain't got to be white even. You can wear whatever color,
Bright
lighter
colors.
color. Yeah, bright colors, so that you're able to then be able to transmute different energies instead of wearing all black and calling, let's say, your neighbor's energy in.
Yeah.
Your neighbor's energy could have, I've been in sessions where somebody picked up somebody else's thing and they're like, yo, I remember when you played an instrument, I was in this place in the beginning, because I think I was picking up on this person. And then when you played this instrument, it was like, wow, I felt completely different. How did you know, and how did you do that? These are the things that I do. I can't speak for everybody else, but this is what I do to look at rooms. But I did want to share just being aware of the colors and the things that you go to whenever you go to sound baths. That's all.
Yeah.
I forgot that.
That's
So
so
that's my 6
good.
points.
That's so good. Okay, Jeremy, it has been so good to have you here with us today. And I want you to tell all the people, where can they find you? What is the best way to connect with you moving forward?
All right, you can find me right here on Instagram at Soulful Sounds Studio, sounds with a Z, and that's on all platforms. And if you would like to hear my album, I do have one album out. There's going to be so many more albums that I'm creating right now as we speak here in Costa Rica. But right now it's Soulful Sounds with 2 Z's on Spotify, Apple Music, and all platforms. We are launching Germs Journeys on YouTube. I'm taking things a little bit more intentional with the sound, and so I want to share my journey in sound, recording nature, so that will have you guys be able to just tap in, listen to hours and hours and hours of actual sounds with visuals. So Germ's Journey, we will be launching that in the new year, in the real new year, which is February 21st, not the calendar new year, but the real new year in spring. You know what I'm saying? I said February, I meant March. But anyway, March 21st, we will be launching Germ's Journeys. But until then, everything is Soulful Sound Studio, email, and all the things.
Yeah, you have incredible work that's already accessible on YouTube. I have listened to so much of it.
Yeah.
And we just can't thank you enough for doing the good work that you do and sharing the healing powers and the whole journey with everyone.
Thank you.
So, Jeremy, thank you so much. Today has been incredible. I hope you have the most blessed time in Costa Rica, and I cannot wait to hear what's in store next for you.
Most definitely. Thank you for having me. I'll
Have a
see y'all
good
soon.
one.
You too.
Bye.
Peace.